So how is everything with you? Miss seeing you in the octagon, but it's been a while. How's everything going?
Good, man. Just chilling out and hanging and spinning with these noisy little rascals as usual.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Hang on, just make sure your finger's not blocking it, dude. I think, yeah, there we go. Sweet. So have you been approached by other people? Are you free to fight for other organizations now? I mean, there must be a lot of interest.
Yeah, like I said, it took a while to try and get over the UFC debacle, and I finally got some passion for what I used to do before. So, when this COVID shit gets over and done with, hopefully soon we can get on with the road show. So finish my career and be happy. So, it took me a long time to get over that garbage with that scumbag company, but we're headed.
Yeah, what an absolute nightmare scenario. So everything's good now. Apart from that, you moved on from that, and everything's good.
Well, I mean, I'm still in a couple of lawsuits against him, but hopefully when that's done, I can leave all this garbage behind. To be honest, yeah, it's just kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth, especially after we've been fighting for such a long time. You're trying to get to the top, and you get to the top where you get up there, scumbag company crooks that promote all these steroid users. That's the bottom line of how I see it. So push me out of the way.
I saw a piece Chael Sonnen did the other day who reckons that you may have not fought a single clean fighter in Japan. Did you see that? And do you think that might be true?
No, I don't know. No, the thing about Japan or any other company, they didn't go and make out like they were the cleanest company in the world. They had Jeff Davinsky with them who called Lance Armstrong, but there's no one in the world this other company said to anybody, oh, hey, everyone, look at us. We're a very clean company. We do not promote steroids or drug cheaters, and we've got the best testing people, we've got the best testing policies, everything. These companies never said that. UFC on the other hand did. And all they've done was just say their shit, and that's all it was, full of bullshit. They say all their shit, but they didn't enforce nothing. Didn't do nothing about it. Just promoted the steroid users and the cheaters. Basically, that's all they did. So I have no issues with these other companies because you knew what you were getting into when you went there. You asked the question, and they said, well, do you want to fight or not? We're not here to be the best drug testing policy company, and we won't say that. Are you here to fight? That's it.
A lot of fans love you for what you did in Japan. Do you think you might go back there? Has Ryzen been in talks with you at all, or one championship maybe?
I've been talking to a couple, but we'll see. I've got a few things waiting over here, so I will finish my career in the next year and a bit, 2 years. So, I did say to myself, I want to, once I get over this bitter taste I have of this UFC, I'd get back into fighting and I'll finish my career with 6 more fights. And I finish up happy and make some money along the way and not have to worry about fighting against the fucking company or the people, you work for. Just fighting in general, what I used to love doing.
Do you like what they're doing at One Championship? Because, of course, you kickbox as well, you can box, and also they're kind of putting together all the different disciplines. So does that appeal to you?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, fighting with any company appeals to me. And I have something already sorted out and just waiting on it. The virus has put everyone on stuck and everything's been put on hold, to be honest. So it's just the way things are. We have to just there's a lot of stuff going on, which is crazy. I don't know how true it all is, but the media is really pumping out there all this bad shit about everything. They always put out bad shit about everyone. But who knows the truth these days? I certainly I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories, and I do believe a lot of them, or some of them, there's some truth behind a lot of them, to be honest. So, but we all have our own different beliefs.
Do you think we're likely to see you back doing MMA, or do you think it's perhaps boxing or kickboxing?
Hey, I want to finish my career happy though. Like I said, I want to finish MMA. I want to compete. I used to love doing it. It's a means to an end, and working for so long for the UFC. I lost interest like 5 years ago, and I finished working with them like 2.5 years ago. So the back end of my career just soured badly for me, and it's still so. People always mention my name with their company because their company's mainstream, but I always remind them not to mention my name with their company. They're a bunch of grubs, and what they do to these fighters still, it's not good what they're doing, and they're still doing it to this day. So that's why we're in these lawsuits. So we'll see how that pans out. Hopefully the landscape changes with this these lawsuits.
I know a lot of the Aussie boys look up to you, like Ty and Tyson Pedro as well. Have you kind of warned those boys to look out for themselves?
I think fighting. They already know. To be honest, they already know about this game, the business, and you've got to surround yourself with the right people. But end of the day, you're not here for a long time. I've been lucky that my career's spanned over 2 decades at the top end. Some of these guys come and go just like they change the underwear. It's just the changing of the times, just the way things are. But they already know to have the right people around them, and they already know how to see me go through this sort of jazz and debacle. And I already said, time's up, time's up. Like I said, I have been blessed to have a long career. It's not for everyone, but I'm still banging, to be honest. So, I still feel I'm one of the best fighters out there, to be honest, even at 46 years of age. I feel I have way more to offer, but I'm glad that I don't have to give it all to the UFC. I can give it somewhere else.
The fans still absolutely love you. You've achieved so much in the sport. You're an absolute legend. Does that mean a lot to you that fans still to this day, they still talk about you, they still love watching your highlights? Does that kind of pick you up a bit sometimes?
It does. Like I said, it does feel it's a bittersweet taste, to be honest. Since the UFC went mainstream, I had a career before I even went to the UFC. Couple of lawsuits, fighting just turned sour. When the company forces you to fight people that are cheating, and they'll fire you. Otherwise, you've got no choice. You're just like, wow, everyone's got bills to pay and things to do, but it just gets kind of really monotonous. But I do appreciate all the love and support. I think the people need to be educated, like a lot of stuff about how this company works and how they're not employees, they're subcontractors, how they're only sharing 4% of the revenue instead of 40%. I mean, there's a lot of things that company needs to answer for, and hopefully one day someone will put the sword to them and make them answer it. And all these fans will understand it. They probably don't even understand how it all works. They just see two guys fighting, and there's a whole lot behind that. When a person's not happy to compete or even forced to compete, he doesn't compete well. When a guy's got nothing worried about the back end, everything is fine with the front, so he's fighting well and doing the right thing. So, yeah, they have a lot to answer for. The problem is a lot of fighters always keep saying, I'd like to do this, I'll fight for nothing, I want to just be in the UFC. You need to just grow up and think properly. The UFC is garbage, and you're going to get treated like one of the rest of the slaves that they got going. There's no glory in what they're doing. There's no glory. When people talk about UFC, I go, it's a waste of time. Their bouts mean jack shit.
Where do you think there was a time in your career where everything was good, where you were happiest? Do you have a highlight looking back, like where you were just at the top in terms of enjoying it and how good you were?
But that was a while ago when I was enjoying competing, before they started before they started forcing you to fight guys that are cheating. I enjoyed competing. I was at a good place. I was making some good money, even never having held the title. And now it makes sense. I don't even know, why would you want to fight for a title that doesn't make any sense? You're not the greatest fighter in the world to win their world title at all. You're just another number, to be honest. Another number for those guys to make money off, while you're slaving away, sharing the 4%. These other guys that actually own the company making all the money. It's how it should work with companies, but how they're doing it is wrong. At least share the proper percentage with the fighters, what they deserve, not 4%. It's slave labor, slave wages, man.
What about before you were with the UFC, when you were fighting in K1, when you're fighting in Pride? You've had so many highlights, so many walk-off knockouts. Which one of them did you enjoy most, do you think?
I mean, I don't really look at and like a lot of those the fights. And just like I said, what I enjoyed the most was fighting at the top end for such a long time. That was my favorite thing to do, was compete at the top end against the very best. Even though a lot of them were cheating, I felt at a good place because I was competing with the best fighters in the world, and they were gashing themselves, and I was still competing. It wasn't fair, but I still was competing. I was in there, even though it wasn't a fair fight. I still was in there fighting.
Have you seen John Wayne Pars come back again? You know John, right? He's what, 43, 44 now?
Yeah, I don't think John's ever had a comeback. I think he's always been. I mean, he's a fighter at heart, to be honest. John's always been fighting. The Gunslinger's one of my favorite fighters. He's one of the. He fights, and he's always been fighting from the get go. Doesn't matter what genre, he's always fighting. So I love a man with a good fighting spirit, and he's one of them. So I mean, this is part of the fighting culture, to be honest. So as for retirement, I don't think any fighter gets forced out of fighting with retire. They just slowly just drift away, I think, and just say, I've had enough. I can't deal with the training anymore. And that's what basically is the hardest, is the training. The competing is like, the fighting and the competing is the best part of it. It's the enjoyment. It's the cream on top of the cake, as you say.
So you said you got some interesting things in the pipeline once this COVID-19 crisis ends, huh?
Well, hopefully it ends. There's a lot of talk going around. The media's making everything bad. Everyone's being indoors, forced indoors. Some countries have to be staying indoors. I don't know who knows what's really going on these days. Who knows if the numbers are real? Who knows what's going on these days? People just don't know these days. It's just one day this thing just turned up and everyone just, China virus has killed everyone.
I don't ask you this, mate, but I don't know if you've seen that the UFC is planning to put on fights on a private island. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I couldn't give a stuff. Garbage. Companies garbage, and so are their morals and their ethics, everything about them. They can do it on a fucking plane or whatever. It doesn't matter. They just, at the bottom line, they're just a company promoting steroid users and cheaters just to make money and profit. Why would you want to waste your time supporting that?
Despite everything that's happened, do you still enjoy watching the sport ever? Is there anybody you enjoy watching?
I used to enjoy watching the local guys, like all the Aussies and Kiwis, but I don't even watch. I watch every other company. I would never support UFC. I wouldn't even bother turning on. I wouldn't even turn on to watch some of the guys. I didn't even watch the guys I know these days on there because I know how bad they're getting screwed, and all for what? For extension of someone's jet or boat or an helicopter, one of the owners. Fuck. Well, these other guys fight their ring hole off and they get nothing. Because what they're getting is pittance. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, fighting back, one of the oldest combat sports to get out of for all the poor people is the way out. Some of the greatest fighters came from poverty, and what they've done is they've just turned it around. They're going to stay slaves. The only good thing about the modern day gladiator these days is what I think of myself is that we don't get most of us all the time get to go home. In the olden days, they die, and that's it. But they're making it back as it was, slave labor, and these guys are fighting for nothing.
That's bleak, mate. that is.
It's not bleak. It's truth. Everything I say isn't a lie, and all I've said is from experience. I'm not sitting here trying to piss in your pants or make things out like how they want people to see the UFC. The truth is, the bottom line is all these people are getting screwed, and all these owners are laughing all the way to the bank. These dickies like Tony Robbins, Mark Wahlberg, all these fuckwits with plenty of money are getting more money, while everyone else is getting fucked screwed over. Why the fuck would you want to support dickies like that? There's no way.
So is the likelihood, I'm not sure what is in the pipeline for you, but you said you want to compete 6 more times. I'm biased. I'd love to see you back in Asia. Is there any chance any of those would be in Asia?
Yeah, I love Japan. Japan's one of my favorite countries to fight in, compete in. I mean, I always consider myself a Japanese born in a different place, but I love competing. I've competed 10 years in Japan, and hopefully I can get back to there one day. It's just been hard with this. I think a lot of the companies didn't want to touch me because of the UFC, me being outspoken and suing them. But all I'm doing is trying to fight for equality. You know, that's all I was ever trying to do is fight for an even fight. You know, I don't mind fighting and losing to a guy that's not cheating, but when you're fighting against a guy that's juiced up, it's not an even fight. And that's all I've been fighting for, was equality. So,
is there a solution to all this? They've talked about forming a fighters union before, but it never happened.
you know, the solution's easy. I've already said that many times. First thing you do is you take away all the money. The guy that gets caught cheating, take away all his money. Don't give him a cent. Give it to the other guy. You know, or even don't give it just because the other guy that didn't cheat, he loses out on his funds and his camp all this time. The cheaters don't deserve a cent because he premeditated all this. He knew that he was going to fight. He goes and puts fucking needles in his ring hole, and then he juices himself up. And if he kills that guy, that's murder, premeditated murder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in my eyes, it is. So he's already stealing off the other person already because he's cheating. He's taking away the other person's kids' benefits, which is what he's doing anyway. And the problem when you get caught cheating, it becomes a no contest. And who loses out here? The guy that didn't cheat. He doesn't get the money. He doesn't get to move forward in his career. He sits right there and just loses. And I've realized that it's happened to me 4 times with this shit. I'm like, wow. And you guys are doing nothing about it. They just said, oh, Mark, we'll just put it through the system. Your system is fucking full of crooks just like you guys are. And that's what happens. So at the end of the day, people aren't educated, and that's what happens with this company. They're just going to keep doing their revolving crookery, tricking people and putting all these little scumbags like John Jones in the front, all these little cheating little rats that shouldn't even be allowed up there. Well, I see a cheating fighter is a guy that cheats. He's an average fighter. When you get him the juice or whatever, he becomes above average, like where I am. I sit here above average without even cheating. You take away his juice, he becomes a normal fighter again. He shouldn't hang with the guys that are above average like me. He doesn't deserve a place at the table. Only the best eat at this table, and that's the problem with this company. They're just promoting all these dickies that use all these drugs. You know. I love talking about the UFC. Like, it's beautiful to me. It just makes everyone see, is this guy bitter, salty? Yeah, he is. He's kind of bitter. He's upset about how they treated him, how they promoted the cheaters over the guy that didn't do anything wrong, and they pushed him out of the rest of his career. You know, he should have been enjoying his retirement after 5 years of fighting, but he ends up sitting around fighting with these scumbags in court. He had plenty of money that they stole from all the people that watched him, all the people that supported their company and said, I want my boys and girls to fight in this company because I think it's a great company. No, they're not. They're a crooked company promoting steroids and cheating, and they're making it all the way to the bank. Now they're going to book a private fight. And, like, who gives a fuck? Who gives a shit about watching some fighters kill themselves for fucking pittance? Are they going to get money, the real money out of it? No, they're not going to get jack shit. $2 million. A fucking boxer gets more. You know, the Gypsy King, Joseph Parker makes more in one fight than that. These guys bleed and give their ass for it. For what? For 4%? What a joke. Dana White, you're a scumbag. Like the rest of those Petita brothers, you guys are scumbags also. So anyway, that's how I feel about that company. Promote it, watching it, I don't support it.